Okay, so I've got this altered book club that I do, and it's a round robin thing. So I've got this book, and it's somebody else's book, and every month we get somebody else's book to do a page in. So I'm going to do this page, and I'm strictly going to be using Tim Holtz Distress Inks and stamps and some archival ink for stamping. I think. We'll see when I get into it. I have an idea of what I want to do, and I'm just going to get started here, and hopefully you will see it just kind of happening on the page as we go here. And unfortunately I don't have anything really in order, so okay, let's see. That we've got peeled paint. Oops. Peeled paint, crushed off olive, shabby shutters. So I'm starting off with some greens. Kind of like to start. I'm just gonna. I gessoed the page very lightly, so you can still see the words through, and I think I'm going to like that idea, so I'm just going to leave that. Like I said, I'm just kind of lightly figuring out what I want. I'm not going to try and do a whole lot of talking between this, but I will let you know what colors I'm using and things like that. So again, this is still just shabby shutters. Just kind of getting my outline here. I'm trying to make sure I'm not moving the book too much so that you can see this. Okay. It gives me my basic shape. And now I'm just going to kind of and I don't really move my I don't change these out as long as I'm close in color. I'm not that worried about it, so let's see. Okay, now I think I'm gonna okay. Oops. So that was peeled paint. First was shabby shutters, peeled paint. Now I'm gonna jump to some tumbled glass. Let me find a color kind of sort of close to that. I don't know how juicy this pad is. Okay, let's see. Yeah, this is pretty not juicy pad, but that's okay because I'm liking the lightness so that I can just keep getting an idea for what I'm doing. The theme of this lady's book, each person has their own theme, what their book is about. And the theme for this gal is flowers, gardens, trees, shrubs, anything nature oriented. And so that's where I'm headed here with this one. And that's some, I really like that the letters are still shining through, or not shining I guess, but I really like that. Make sure I'm not moving the book too much. Okay, now let's see, the next color is going to be, I think, I'm going to do Broken China. Let's see here. So I'm kind of thinking that the closer to me, the darker and more vibrant I'm seeing the colors, and the farther away from me, the lighter I'm seeing the colors. So to me, in my mind, that's the way it should work. And so that's kind of what I'm doing here. And I'll come back and add green into this. I'm getting a lot of fingerprints because of the gesso. It's not wanting to really dry. And so I think I'm going to take a break here and see if I can get this to dry a little bit with a, get those fingerprints out of there, with a shot of the heat tool. So hold on a sec. Okay, yeah, so it dries a little nicer that way. I'm also going to give it a little bit of a darkness up across the top of the lake here that I'm creating. And I'm working it into that green. There we go. Okay. Alright, so there's that. Now I need to start on the sky. Get an idea for that. Let's see, let's start with some I don't necessarily always like a blue sky. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is some sponge sugar. And find some light pink. Okay. I love starting my sky with pink, because then you're going to get some nice coloration when you add whatever other color you add. And it blends in with the other stuff pretty nicely and doesn't really create a different color so much. Okay, so there's some sponge sugar. And now I'm going to hop in. I'm going to get a little darker, deeper blue. This will work. Here's a little Faded Jeans. Make sure I'm not moving the book too much. And just going to keep pulling it out. I'm going to start getting some purples in there, because it's really mixing, because I'm not drying. This is so not drying on this. Okay. Now I'm going to come, now that was Faded Jeans. And I'm going to come back with some more spun sugar. Okay. So we just got a mix of stuff here. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can dry this pretty well. Let me find my blues again, get rid of my fingerprints. Got quite a bit of green fingerprints going into my blue water here, which is okay because of the what I'm looking for as far as the look here. Just kind of rub this around. Don't want to lose my bit of green I've got here. There we go. I kind of lost just the edge of that green right there. Okay. I'll be right back. I'm going to see if I can really get this dried here. Okay, so it's not really drying, but that's okay because I can just Collage Page it at the end, and but it's for the most part it's drying, and I'm sure as time goes by it will dry as long as I'm not putting anything on it. But it gives, this is a kind of a very I don't know, just gives you an idea of what it is instead of you know, just going to be bam in your face kind of thing. So I don't know. It's just a feeling I'm looking for, I guess, more than anything else. I'm using Stampin' Up's Lovely as a Tree. I think they brought this back, but this to me was the best stamp set that they ever made. But anyway, I digress. Okay, so this is a really simple technique that's been used years and years and years. We're going to use, let me get this clipped off here. There we go. Okay. We're going to ink this up. Now again, this is archival ink from Ranger. And I'm inking the stamp up with all of the trees on it. And we're going to stamp this right in this little knoll above the trees. I mean, sorry, the trees above this little knoll, on the little knoll above where I've got the lake. Okay. Alright, so not horrible but not great, but again it's a feeling I'm going for more than, and so this got a little lost in the stamping. I'll have to remember that, but that's okay. Now this is my thingamajig, Stamp-a-majig, the piece that came with it. There's a rough side, and then there is a smooth side. I'm going to use the smooth side, and I don't know where this all these little tabbies came from. Let's see, and I'm not going to use the archival for this one. I'm going to use my Memento Tuxedo Black. I'm going to ink this up. I didn't clean my stamp. Just going to ink this up. I'm going to stamp it on to the smooth side, making sure I'm not going to smear it. Then I'm going to flip it around, line it up, lay it down, and hopefully this will transfer over onto the water. we're doing here. Okay, not too bad. Not too bad at all. So now I have the reflection stuff, but I want to make sure I get this dry. So I'm going to go ahead and put my my heat tool on here and dry this off, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I put the heat tool on it, and because I use the Memento, it's not really dry. So I'm actually taking advantage of that, but I have a feeling that what I'm going to have to do is see if I can just let it sit for a while and really dry off. It's not drying because the ink I stamped it on is not drying, and I don't know if well, let's try. What the heck? No, it's not going to come all the way off, but if I get it, I kind of like that it's getting distorted, so that's a good thing. See, trial and error. So now it's distorted in there, and as long as I'm really careful. You don't want to go too much over with the wetness again, because this is Memento and it'll just start smearing with it. But I like that. Now this is not going to smear, so I can now take like my mowed lawn, and let's see, I'm going to do a little bit up front here. Got my corners. And I'm just kind of touching this area here. Just kind of getting my corners in there. I don't really want to overwork the area, but I want it to look. And then I'm working down just to where I think the edge of that water would be, and I'm going to bring this down around here. Okay. Now let's get this lake kind of framed in a little bit more. I don't want to move things too much. And let's see, I want to have a kind of depression area right here, a little valley area, I guess, is what I'm looking for. And then we're going to do some, let's see, there's another stamp set, if I can find it quickly. Huh, no, where is that sucker? Here it is. Now this is another really nice stamp set. This is Forever Young. I don't think it's still available from Stampin' Up. This tree right here with the little girl on it. Let's see. I love this. Again, we're going to use the archival ink, which I wish I would have used on the lake, but I didn't. So that's okay. I might just re-stamp it, see what we end up with. Okay. Now I'm going to put this over here on the little knoll. Now this is a little more difficult because this part of the book, I should have put my pad underneath there and I didn't. This part of the book is not flat in any way, shape, or form because there's pages that have been done. Okay, let's see. Okay. Well, that's good. That's all right. Okay. Now I'm going to move to my smaller. See, is this open? Yeah. Alrighty. I thought this was... Huh. Okay. So now I'm going to go in. So this is mowed lawn. I'm sorry, that's what I kind of did with all of this with. Now I'm going to kind of go in and want to start setting my area here. There we go. Alright. And I'm going to do, let's see, where is my pumice stone? I tell you, that's one of my favorite colors, is pumice stone. Okay. Now I'm going to kind of break up some of these areas between the water and the grass and give them a little bit of a earthy look to me. That's what this does. Kind of breaks that up and gives a little earthy look. And working it a little bit right into the area between the mowed lawn and the water here, just so it kind of gives an illusion of a bank. There we go. Kind of broke that up a little bit, so now there's an illusion that there's a bank and then there's water. And there's the sun setting. I'm going to work on this yellow a little bit and then bring it out to the pinks and the blues. See, now I can start doing a little bit more, let's see, yellows. I want that lighter yellow. Where is that? Well, it's not really lighter, but it's a different yellow. This is fossilized amber. And I'm just kind of doing this right at the edges here. So it kind of looks like the sun still just right about there. And it's going down. And now I want back to my spun sugar. Just right with into the yellow, but not all the way through. And I'll start getting a bit of an orange color in some spots. If I want to make it orangier, I can totally bring in spiced marmalade, which I think is my second favorite color in this. And I just want to get just a light touch of that. Not looking for much of it. So we're going to try this, starting it all over again. That. And I want my spun sugar again. Okay. And we're going to do a little dry marigold. I want dry marigold or wild honey? I think I want wild honey. Yeah, that's the color I'm looking for. That's the color right there. And then move that spun sugar into that. Now I'm going to play with some blues. And the reason I've got the spun sugar coming out from that is because if I add blue to yellow, I'm going to have green. I don't want a green sky. So if I pull this spun sugar out and then start mixing the blues into that, then I'm going to have a purple and a blue in my sky. So you don't want to put your blue into your yellows or oranges because you're going to end up with colors you don't want in your sky. Okay, so now we're going to hit the tumbled glass. And again, I'm not going to work it down into my yellows at all. I'm going to work it into my spun sugar. And we're going to go broken china. Just kind of working a little darker. You get a little darker into a spot or two, don't worry about it. You can work it out, especially when it's not really drying on this surface. I can totally work it out, and yeah. So now I'm going to go back in. That's what I do with my spun sugar. I'm going back in with my spun sugar. Wait a minute, I want to make sure. I'm just getting my spun sugar in there. And this is going to give me a chance to lighten up those darker colors. Now I'm going to hit with some darker colors and bring that in. And let's see, I'm getting a little bit of the blue onto my pink here. I'm going to be bringing some of this pink sky over here because that's what the sky is doing. We're having our pink fest. Still going to have some blues over here, but it's sending pinks over in this way. Okay, so now we're going to go into some faded jeans. And I'm going to come onto the faded jeans from up into this part of the book and pull it down. Okay, so there's a big pretty sky. Bring a little bit of this into my pink up here, but not all the way across. There we go. Start to get the hint of some purples. So I like that. All right. I'm gonna get some faded jeans and just kind of put down here where my trees are. Trying to do just some muted darkness there. There we go. Good. Okay. And let's see. What are we going to try now? We are going to, let's add a little bit more greenery, or hints of greenery. Let's see, what do I have? I have, for close-up greenery, where is my, Alright, hold on. Okay, for some close-up stuff I'm doing, it's Dylusions, Ranger's Dylusions Shattered Bits. And it's kind of a different one, but I'm going to be utilizing the different greeneries here for right in the front. And, whoops, sorry about that. And, yeah, we're going to be using the archival. There we go. Get some more of this on there. Just inking up the archival jet black. Okay, and then the other one that I'm going to use, so let me get a baby wipe and clean the stamp here. There we go. This other one. Going to ink this one up. We're going to do a few of these. Let's see. Where do I want these? Right here. And there we go. See if I can fit something down there. There we go. Alright. So that gives a little bit of stuff around the front. And once I know that that has dried, as even though it's archival ink on this medium, I need to make sure I've got it dried. So let me get back with you in just a second here. Okay, so now I'm going to take, let's see, what do I want here? I want, let's see, where is it? As soon as I see it, I'll know. Let's try some iced spruce. Kind of a darker in the greenish blue family. Let me see how this is going to work. Okay, yeah, I kind of like that. So I'm going to put this right into the water area. By all of this plant life and really give it some darker looking area. Kind of following that around. Just kind of give it some shading there. Now I'm going to go back to my watercolors. Main nice dark color was the Broken China. And give my water a little nicer look here. And I want that reflective area to be lighter in spots. That's why I'm leaving this lightness in there. But then I also don't want it to be too light. And I love that you can still see the words through everything. Just love that. Now I need to get a little more, I think, a little more of the greens down. I want peeled paint. There we go. Okay. That's good. And I want to kind of, let's see. Okay. I'm making a bit of a path, and I've got, let's see, here's, I needed my mowed lawn again, and okay. Where did my peeled paint go again? Let's get the brightness off of here. Okay. There we go. And I've got, that was mowed lawn and peeled paint. Peeled paint is kind of more of this brownish one, and kind of like putting a little bit of that darker color around the edging there. I am just using the same piece, and I'm just rubbing off the majority of the color onto my wipey, so that if I'm changing colors and I really don't want them to blend really well, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to get a lighter one to hit this Shabby Shutters. And here. Go up into like a little mountain here that's got some darker I'm trying to use the spongy to make what might be thought of as some bushes or some texture on the page that makes it look like it's you know, got some greenery and some bushes and some things like that in there. So there, it's kind of my scene. Now what I'm going to do is figure out what I'm going to say on this scene, and then I'm going to glossy accent it, and then I'll come back and, Collage Podge. I'm using this Instant Decoupage glossy, and I might, if I don't use the glossy, then I might find one that's matte. I'll have to see when I'm done with my lettering, so I'll be back in a minute.